You are listening to Storymakers, the podcast for women who are ready to step into their true identity, live with meaningful purpose, find belonging and connection, grow in leadership, and walk boldly in faith. Here you can uncover the story that you were created to live because you were made for such a time as this. Well, hi, friends. Good morning. I don't know what time it is right now for you, but it's good morning for me. Makes me want to sing you some songs from Bullfrogs and Butterflies, if you've ever heard of it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're feeling fine. Gotta get up, get out of bed. Gotta get up, you sleepyhead. The day is dawning just for you, and all your dreams are coming true. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. At this point, my daughter throws things at me, if not sooner. If you've never heard of it, Bullfrogs and Butterflies is like a kids Christian, I don't even know. It was an actual record album when I was growing up, and it had this album cover that had bullfrogs and butterflies on it, and kids and bubbles and hula hoops and jump ropes and all the fun things. And it had the slipcover that had all the lyrics to all of the songs, like Welcome to Agape Land and all these things. When my son was 12, and let's see, he heard it because I actually found that there was a set of CDs that were Bullfrogs and Butterflies beyond what I had ever known as a child. There's like an actual bullfrog who gives his life to the Lord and becomes a new creature or something. And so my son was listening to it because I was playing it for his younger sister in the car all of the time. And he actually gave his life to the Lord that year. And a lot of it, I think, had to do with being able to hear it in a consumable way, hearing the gospel. And even though he was 12 and he was very cool with his skater haircut, he got to hear it. It was, not about him because his little sister was in the car listening to it, but he absorbed it. And I remember, even though we didn't have church and God when I was growing up in my house, I had that album and I don't even know where it came from. I still have it to this day. And it made such an impact on me. And I remember the love of God being sown into me then. And listen, this is crazy because it actually, I'm just realizing right now as I'm talking, it totally ties into what I want to talk to you about today on this. Wow, mind-blowing. I don't even know why I went there. I don't even know why I was talking about good morning, and then I started singing a song, and then I went to Bullfrogs and Butterflies, except that it must be God to tell you about this today. Because it's literally, I want to tell you about this new song I heard, and it's about your life and the legacy you leave and create intentionally and who it impacts. And so literally did not mean for this to happen, and I'm so glad it did. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for being with me in my podcast. So I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but there's a Christian artist. Sorry, her name is Kristene DiMarco. I'll put a link to this song, like a YouTube video of it, and I'll put it in the show notes if you want to find it. She has a new song called Song for My Children, and I had seen it come up on Spotify somehow. And I'm like, ooh, I just want to hear it. It's literally all about legacy. And I'm sorry, I think I've literally used the word literally probably a dozen times already, and we're not very far in. So the heart of the song is this. Basically, like, may I live a life today that becomes a floor for the next generation to stand on. May my ceiling be their floor. And my husband and I were just talking about this yesterday, how in our faith walk, we start out acting like brothers and sisters, and there's like squabbling and sibling rivalry, and we have comparison and competition and all of the stuff. And, you're the prodigal or you're the older son that's self-righteous in the field. Like, pick one. We're all of them. We're both guys at different times. And then when you understand the spirit of adoption, not just understanding salvation through Jesus Christ, but when you begin to understand that you've been adopted, you get to step into this place of being an adopted son or daughter. And you get to leave the place of victimhood. You get to leave the place of orphanhood. You get to leave the slave mentality. You get to stop seeing God as a taskmaster and a harsh father. You grow through these stages. We go in and out, right? We're in process. And when you become a daughter, that's the place where the next step is to become a mother. And for the men, like they go from being a son to a father. So we go from sister mindset, I gotta fight to keep what's mine, to becoming a daughter. Whoa, look at what is mine, to being a mother. And the heart of a mother says, what can I do to use what's mine to empower and lift up and source others? And this song, it reaches beyond the boundaries of natural born children, right? We're talking about all of the people in your sphere of influence. So it stirs up my soul because literally whether or not you're a parent, your life actually is shaping other people's stories. So the way that we lead ourselves today becomes, it's like, the whole dandelion theory. We get the seeds are sown in places wherever the wind blows. And we can be intentional about sowing seeds, but our life will impact other people whether we are trying or not. So let me read the song lyrics to you. I'm like not going to go by verse or chorus or anything. And I'm not going to do the repetition that you would hear in a song, but I just want you to capture the essence of it. Don't leave potential unfulfilled. Don't be afraid of letting go. Get it all out. Have it said and done before the sun gets low. Some gardens we make for others. Some victories aren't just for us. There's so much we won't ever know, and fields that we may not see grow. Someday it's going to be time to go. Move on from what we know, and many will reap from the ground where we only sowed. But you won't regret losing all that you cannot keep to gain what heaven holds. And the chorus says, but plant your trees anyway. Grow your flowers like you'll stay. 'Cause the ones before you did the same and knew. To everything there is a season, and our days on earth are few. So plant the seeds in your pockets, even if they're not for you. Do it anyway. Come on, do it anyway. When I think about legacy, it's really easy to picture that is something far, far away. It's way down the road. It's long after I'm gone, but the someday impact of my whole life isn't just for later. The truth is that legacy's already being written in the daily walk, the daily talk, like the way I talk to myself, in how I handle my emotions and the choices I make when people are watching and when nobody's watching. If I don't take ownership of my own story, I risk passing down confusion or fear instead of clarity and courage. And it's not just passing down, it's spreading out. It's impacting the atmosphere right now wherever I am. But when I choose self-leadership and tend to my thoughts and process my emotions and take intentional action to create fruitful results, then I'm planting seeds of hope and freedom for everybody connected to me, everybody within the sound of my voice. Podcast, neighborhood, friends, and their kids. my kids and their friends, and then their parents. I've looked back at the past 10 or 20 years of my life. Well, more than that, 23 years, being parent, all the different stages of life that I've gone through, really the different people that I've been, and I can see the times when in my self-leadership and faith walk where I've gone up the mountain and I've been, glory. I can also see my self-leadership and faith sliding right back down to sit in a muddy valley, pit of despair. When I look at that and I look in hindsight of how, with eyes to see, how I was impacting and influencing my kids, my husband, my neighbors and staff and friends, honestly, it's humbling and it's kind of painful. Legacy does not start later. It starts now. It already started. We're already in process of creating our legacy. So when we practice honesty with ourselves, we're modeling honesty with our children and friends and coworkers and neighbors. And I don't mean telling all of our opinions, being honest about what we're going through, who we are. That means we've got to tap into our true identity and find our true purpose, right? Getting honest about what we want and how we don't have it and how that is impacting our paradigm and creating emotions that we hate feeling, that we do things because we don't want to feel those things. And when we resist the lies that try to define us, we teach others that truth and walking in it is possible. When we create a rhythm of prayer, reflection, and resilience in our lives, we're showing the people in our spheres how to root their lives in something very solid, how to build on a rock instead of sand. So when you lead, what you lead in yourself becomes what other people see and capture, and then carry forward. And when it comes to our family and our children, Deuteronomy 6 tells us, it gives us a picture of legacy. Impress God's truth on your children. Talk about it when you're at home. And when you're walking along the road, the rhythm of your life becomes the teaching that they learn from. Obviously, there's the good old, homeschool mom verse, Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. But training is not about the worksheets at the table. It's not how often you can get their nose into the book of the Bible. Training begins with how you train yourself in the way you speak and think and act in the everyday moments that your children learn from and carry forward with them. So I think that we have to ask ourselves, what kind of floor are we building for them to stand on? That it's our ceiling. We have to consider the house that we are building because we're laying a foundation. And some of us, I don't know if you're like me, but I didn't have a foundation of faith from my family. I had to build one. Got saved at 22, and then I had to start building a foundation just for me to stand on. And then I got married, and he had a foundation of faith, but, it had a lot of cracks in it. We had to put some stuff back together. And then we had to figure out, how do we create a foundation where we can put walls up and build rooms and start to begin a family together. And then our kids are on the second and third and fourth floors. And you cannot have a second, third, or fourth floor of a house that is stable, secure, and safe to build on if the actual foundation of the house is faulty. Or if the foundation's built on sand, that means the fourth floor is built on sand also. What's that mean? To me, if my foundation's built on sand, then my grandkids on the fourth and fifth floors, they're not going to have a foundation that I created for them yesterday, that I started pouring and building. They're going to actually, either they're going to have to fall in the house because it's going to fall, or going to have to go start over again like I did and build a new foundation for themselves. I want my foundation to be strong enough that I impact and influence people who stand on the ceilings that I am developing in my own blueprint of my life, right? So what do you want your children and your friends, your community, your coworkers, your employees, your neighbors, your church, future generations, not just your children and grandchildren and their children, but your friends' children who learn from them what you taught them? What do you want these people to inherit from you? What do you have to give? Let it rise up. Encourage and nourish what's happening in your spirit to lead your soul and your body so what you are filled up with gets poured out, because the way you lead yourself today is the seed, and a seed always does what it was designed to do, and that is to multiply. You got this, friend, with you in it, and excited to hear what's going to happen for you. What are you building? What kind of seeds are you sowing? And I just want you to remember that all things are possible. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the show so you don't miss any new episodes. And to learn more about me, my work, and how we can connect, visit sterlingandstonementoring.com or check the show notes. And until next time, remember, all things are possible and figure outable.